I'm just a sexy boy, sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy, boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy, sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy, boy toy. Do 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 do. It's a hot out, girls. Hands off that merchandise. What is going on, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, because it is good to feel good, and bloody hell, I'm very excited because the fact is this Sunday is WrestleMania 35 and I'm so happy because I'm actually going to be there this year. There's no shenanigans, there's no, oh yeah, I'm going to pull out of this whole trip because I can't afford it and such like what happened last year. But yeah, we are doing it this year and I'm so bloody excited for it. I just wanted to get going now and, like, you know, just get a crack on with it. I think it's going to be an amazing trip. And yeah, really looking forward to it all going down. And before it all goes down, I'm going to do a nice, I say a quick video, this is going to be quite a long one like it is each year. I'm going to do my WrestleMania 35 predictions and, you know, just talk about each match in depth, what I think is going to go down. Fingers crossed we can make a good show. And I've also noticed in, like, the past few years, there's been a case of me, whenever I've predicted WrestleMania, that I've only managed to get about 5 or 6 correct predictions on the night. So fingers crossed we can get some more correct predictions this year, and hopefully WWE don't see this and like, oh yeah, let's just swerve everyone and, you know, go with different results completely. And then also in the latter end of the video, I guess the ending of the video, I'll be talking about a few of the plans I've got for Mania week and, you know, where I'm going to be going, what I'm going to be getting up to. And then also, I just want to quickly say, I hope you enjoyed that nice little rendition of Sexy Boy. So, anyway, let's do this. Let's predict WrestleMania 35. So I should mention before I officially begin this video, this is being recorded before Raw and SmackDown airs, so obviously on the 1st and 2nd of April. This is being recorded during the day on the 1st of April, and it's going to be uploaded a little bit later, so there's the potential that there could be some more matches being added to the show. So yeah, I guess if there are any more matches added, here are those predictions for those matches. They're just inserted here. But now, let's do this. Let's predict WrestleMania 35. So kicking off, we're going to start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, otherwise known as the, oh, if you're not doing anything at WrestleMania, come take part in this Battle Royal. So you can all say, oh yeah, I did something at WrestleMania. I mean, obviously, it's just basically a throwaway Battle Royal. Anyone could be in this match if you don't have anything to do at WrestleMania. And I love how they often tout it as being the match that launched his career, and obviously last year it launched the career of a young up-and-comer by the name of Matt Hardy. But obviously there's not really been any build to this match, considering it's a battle royal and like anything can happen. But I mean, obviously there's been that whole thing where Braun Strowman has been going at it with the Saturday Night Live hosts, Colin Yost and Michael Shea, I believe their names are. And as an outsider to the States, you'll probably be wondering, like, who the hell are these guys? But yeah, they are in the Battle Royal because obviously I'm not going to, you know, dig on the celebrity involvement because that's kind of sewn into WrestleMania's DNA. But I have this weird feeling that they're going to contribute towards Braun Strowman being eliminated, and obviously Braun's going to get a bit pissed. They're probably going to taunt him from inside the ring. And then do you know what I think is going to happen? I think Nicholas is going to show up. There's a nice little throwback from last year, and he's going to dunk them over the top rope. And yeah, I really want that to happen because Nicholas, like, it was so random last year because everyone was like, who's Braun Strowman's partner going to be? And it just is a child. But yeah, Nicholas to interfere, to eliminate Michael Yost and their names confused. Michael Shea and Colin Yost. Fingers crossed. But I do have a winner for this match, and that is Ali, formerly Mustafa Ali, in which I think, you know, he's been on quite the roll on SmackDown in the past few months, and I feel like, you know, he's destined for really good things as the year unfolds. So fingers crossed we can get a nice little victory for Ali in that Battle Royal. Next up is the female equivalent, the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and obviously much like the male counterpart. This is for any women who haven't got a match or anything like that. But I will say something is that I'm a little bit disappointed. I am disappointed in the fact that you know, Asuka and the 4 women who were meant to be in that fatal 4-way to become the challenger to Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, they've just been shafted in favour of, you know, everything that happened. I'll get onto that later in the video. But yeah, sadly, they're not part of that SmackDown Women's Championship match anymore, and they've been shafted into this Battle Royal, which is a real shame. But I really do hope that Asuka wins this, so that's my official prediction. I hope she goes on a tear, and I hope, fingers crossed, later in the year that she can become SmackDown Women's Champion or Raw Women's Champion again, because she deserves so much better than this, and it's a real shame. Like, she's a really good talent. Like, her run in NXT was incredible, and like, just since coming up to the main roster, it's been a case of, oh yeah, she's just another woman, and like, it's just been disappointing. But I hope like this is a road to redemption for Asuka or something like that. So next up, we've got the Cruiserweight Championship match between Bloody Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese. And I'll be completely honest, I haven't been really watching much 205 Live, but I have been keeping up to date with this tournament. And it's nice to see, you know, like, I know it feels a bit reminiscent of last year when there was that tournament to crown the Cruiserweight Champion. But yeah, no, I think the Cruiserweights have definitely come a long way from being, like, you know, just an afterthought from when they were first introduced a few years back. But yeah, I think this match could be a nice little way. I don't know where it will be on the card, but I think, you know, this match could just be a nice little athletic competition between Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. I think, you know what, it'll be a really fast-paced match, and it'll really get the crowd going, and I think it's going to be a good one. Although I will say, I have Buddy Murphy to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. I think he's been on a massive roll since he won the Cruiserweight Championship back at Super Showdown in his native town of Melbourne, Australia. And then ever since, he's been putting on pretty solid Cruiserweight Championship matches on various shows. So yeah, I think Buddy Murphy is going to retain. Next up is The Miz versus Shane McMahon, the best wrestler in the world. And I'll be honest, I've actually kind of enjoyed this whole, like, you know, they were best friends and now obviously they're bitter enemies, but like, it's really been interesting how it's all developed. So of course, Shane McMahon inserted himself into the World Cup back at that event that we don't talk about anymore, and obviously he won the whole World Cup, which is a bit strange considering it was a World Cup that had all Americans in it. It's weird, but yeah, he won the World Cup, and then he proclaimed himself to be the best wrestler in the world. Then he sided with Miz, and of course they beat Sheamus and Cesaro the Bar back at Royal Rumble to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And then of course they lost to the Usos at Elimination Chamber, and then of course lost again to the Usos at Fastlane. Then Shane turned on Miz, and I thought that was a really good dynamic, and now that he's really heel, he's really letting his ego out, and I think that's a really cool development for him. And you know, he's just like power hungry, and he wants this, he wants that. And the thing I love is how he said, I'm not challenging to a match at WrestleMania, Miz, I'm demanding a match at WrestleMania. So yeah, they're having it, and then of course it was announced to be a Falls Count anyway, so this could make for some interesting Shane McMahon shenanigans. That sounds like a show, Shane McMahon shenanigans. That has a nice little ring to it. Maybe that'll be on the network one day. But yeah, Shane is, like, I think Shane is going to do some of his signature Daredevil spots in this match. So I reckon at one point he's gonna dive off something tall. I know that, and he's probably gonna nearly kill himself. So that'll be interesting to watch in person. But yeah, I have The Miz to win this, because obviously, you know, he's now the good guy, and you know, it's this chance to redeem himself and, you know, break up his friendship. Well, the friendship has broken, but you know, good to come back from being bullied by Shane McMahon. So yeah, The Miz, because he's awesome. Next up is AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, and so it is the Phenomenal One versus the Viper. I'll be honest, this has been an interesting kind of little build as well, because both men have been in the wrestling business for many years. However, one stuck with the WWE for all that time. Then you've got AJ Styles, who was originally going to be part of WWE, but then chose a different route towards eventually coming to the WWE. So of course he's been part of promotions like TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and yeah, and now they kind of meet in the middle. One thing I love about this feud is like some of the things that have been said during this feud. So like they've been going back and forth, but I loved it when Randy Orton mentioned how back in 2005 he was feuding with The Undertaker while AJ Styles was in Florida getting a tan by Dixie Carter. that was a nice little dig at Impact Wrestling there. But I think for me this could be a sleeper hit for WrestleMania. Like it's hit or miss. Like I think they can bring out a really good match, and I have AJ Styles to win. I mean, I know Randy Orton can just hit an RKO from out of nowhere and it will just be like, it will pop the crowd instantly, but you know what, I have AJ Styles to win this. Next up is Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with this feud, it's been a bit boring considering the fact that it's Bobby Lashley and all he ever does is, you know, he does that with his tongue. It's really bloody weird. I hope I don't get age restricted just for doing that. But yeah, this whole feud's been a bit weird because obviously it's kind of implied that Finn Balor can't beat Bobby Lashley, like, you know, in a one-on-one match, because Balor's had to take like the easy route out sometimes where, you know, he's beaten them in a handicap match, like what happened at Elimination Chamber where he won the Intercontinental Championship by pinning Lio Rush, and then of course to qualify for this Intercontinental Championship match he had to beat not only Bobby Lashley, but Lio Rush, Jinder Mahal, and the Singh brothers. When I think of the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, I always think of like some really good matches that have happened all over the years. So you've got, you know, Savage Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, Michaels Ramon in the ladder match at WrestleMania 10, the Eurocontinental Triple Threat from WrestleMania 2000. The ladder matches from WrestleManias 31 and 32 were also pretty good, as was the Triple Threat for the Intercontinental Championship at last year's Mania. That was a really good way to kick off the show. But I'm really hoping Finn Balor wins this. I hope he finally beats Bobby Lashley one-on-one, and I hope we get enough of this. Finn, you're so small, I want to beat you up. And then Balor's kind of thinking like, oh yeah, Lashley, you're so tall, I'm gonna come beat you up as well. But yeah, I have Finn Balor to win this, and I've also had I've found it really weird that there's possibility that the Demon King might come out, and like it's only the Demon that can beat Bobby Lashley. It's weird, but if that does happen, it will be a nice spectacle to see, but just a very weird match for it to be part of. So yeah, Balor. And then also in the United States Championship picture, we have Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, Ronald Mysterious, Rey Mysterio, Mystery, as I like to call him. Booyaka, booyaka. Now I'm thinking about Ali G. Restekpa. Keep it real. I need to stop. So yeah, so this match is going to be interesting to say the least, because obviously Rey pinned Samoa Joe and obviously got himself a championship match as a result. It's really interesting because like there was all those hints that Rey Mysterio would be feuding with Andrade going into WrestleMania, and sadly that's not happening. But I would really like to see, you know, a really good match out of the two of these guys, and I feel like, you know, it could be a really good David versus Goliath kind of style match. Obviously you've got Rey Mysterio's like fast-paced action, while you've got Samoa Joe's powerhouse recklessness, and that I think it could make for a good match, like a really good dynamic between the two. It all comes together, and then I have Rey Mysterio to win this match, oddly enough. I've been saying this recently, and that is that Rey Mysterio is one specific championship win away from becoming a Grand Slam champion, given that he's previously won the WWE Championship, he's won the WWE Tag Team Championships, which are now the Raw Tag Team Championships, and then he's won the Intercontinental Championship, and now only he needs to win the United States Championship to become Grand Slam champion, and I reckon he's going to achieve that. Next up, we have Bayley and Sasha Banks against Nia Jax and Tamina, against Beth Phoenix and Natalya, against Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Bloody hell, they're Australian. I don't know really what to think about this match, considering the fact that obviously it's a multi-person match, and like whenever it tends to be the case with multi-person matches, sometimes, you know, it'd be very quick and then that's it, they all hit their finishers and then boom, we have a winner. But it'd really be interesting to see how this match goes, considering obviously you've got Beth Phoenix, who's just come out of retirement. I think it's just for this match, although it could be longer, we never know. But yeah, Beth Phoenix is in this match, and I reckon they're gonna have that stare off, because like they had it at the Women's Royal Rumble last year, where it was Beth Phoenix and Nia Jax, and like obviously Beth Phoenix almost eliminated Nia Jax, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes there, and like I wonder if we'll get a bit of continuity there. But I reckon if we're gonna have a winner for this match, I reckon we're gonna have Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics, because they are, I really enjoy them. I think they're hilarious. I think, you know, they've got a really good chemistry between them, and like obviously I love what they did at the Elimination Chamber last 2 months ago, where obviously they were trying to avoid everyone at all costs. But yeah, it's interesting to see where this goes. So fingers crossed we get an iconic victory from the Iconics. After this we have Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin in what is going to be Kurt Angle's retirement match. So yeah, whenever you hear the name Baron Corbin, you can probably expect a lot of groans, which I think was the case when Kurt Angle announced this match. So Kurt Angle is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. I've had the privilege of meeting him as well, and like, just an all-round legend. And obviously, I think, you know what, he's had a great career, whether it be in WWE, whether it be in TNA, or with any independent promotion. But yeah, he's had a good run, and obviously, it's good to see him, you know, calling it a day, and you know, he's had a good time. But now we come back to the match, and obviously there was a lot of like disappointment when it was announced he was facing Baron Corbin. I know it makes sense from a storyline perspective, considering Baron was the one who replaced him as the acting Raw general manager. But then obviously Baron was outed of his power, and then Kurt Angle still wants to go after him as a result. It's strange how it all comes about, but yeah. It's interesting to see where this match goes, because there's also the potential that this could just be a swerve, and that John Cena might just come into the match and face Kurt Angle. In the case that it's not a swerve, I'm going to go with Baron Corbin, in the sense that I know as much as I love Kurt Angle, but Baron Corbin. I'm going with this on the basis that logic would dictate that whoever is retiring, the retiree will lose the match. So yeah, I mean, it's been a lovely run from Kurt, and I know he's had basically his farewell tour, but you know, he's had his day, and you know, it's nice to see him finally have his moment. And obviously, for one last time, we'll probably get a good "you suck" at Kurt Angle, and I'll be very happy to be there in person for that. Then after this we have Roman Reigns, the big dog, against Drew McIntyre. Oh, I think what this contest really is going to be a contest of who has the wettest hair. No, but in all seriousness, it's really good to see Roman Reigns back after his diagnosis of leukemia last year. I remember watching the episode where he announced he was in remission, and you know, he was coming back into a wrestling capacity, and I was really happy for him. I ended up crying, but it's really good to see him back. Obviously the Shield have had their last like kind of run, considering Dean Ambrose is most likely leaving WWE when his contract expires after Mania, and obviously they had their last run. They beat the team of McIntyre, Corbin and Lashley back at Fastlane last month. That was all cool and that. And of course McIntyre's going after his Shield mates. He's gone after Ambrose, he's gone after Rollins, and now he's challenged Roman Reigns to a match at Mania. I know this will be Reigns' first major one-on-one match since coming back from leukemia, but I think, you know, I really hope that, like, this will be in very poor taste, but I'm really hoping that the crowd doesn't boo him, because obviously you've had what's happened in the last few years, and obviously that's not really been his fault, but I really hope he doesn't get booed, because, you know, he's come back from leukemia, and I think he's going to be on fire. Roman's on fire, McIntyre's terrified. I can imagine that happening. But yeah, I have Roman Reigns to win this match. I know it will make for a really good feel-good moment. It'll be really good to be back at WrestleMania for him, and yeah, fingers crossed, Roman. Next up is Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match, in which Triple H's career is on the line. Gotta get that grunty voice of Triple H in somehow, but yeah. It's interesting when I mention this match, because funnily enough, 6 years prior at WrestleMania 29, which was coincidentally in MetLife Stadium, there was also a no-holds-barred match which Triple H was a part of, and his career was also on the line, where he faced Brock Lesnar, and obviously he came out victorious. But it'll be really interesting to see where this match goes. It's really interesting to see where this whole feud has come about, because this all really came about when Evolution appeared on SmackDown 1000 last year, which I found a bit ironic, considering they were never even associated with SmackDown at all. But obviously they appeared, reminiscing about old times, and you know how how great they were. They were kind of like a modern day Four Horsemen kind of thing, I guess, because I know Ric Flair was often associated, well, I say often associated, he was one of the Four Horsemen. But yeah, nah, like, and then I loved how Batista obviously said how Triple H has gone over the years beating everyone left, right and centre, but he's never beaten the Animal himself. And then that obviously hinted at the possibility of a WrestleMania match, and then a few months down the line, Batista appeared on Ric Flair's birthday celebration beating him up, and I love how he just did this. Do I have your attention now? My voice, that did. Ow, bloody hell. And then of course a few weeks later there was the whole, give me what I want! Is that what you want? Give me what I want! And I'm gonna be really disappointed if they don't play Wanna Be by the Spice Girls for this video package at WrestleMania. Oh, that'll be a very missed opportunity. But I'll be honest, I don't expect like a kind of like fast-paced match, considering obviously both men are in their 50s, although they don't know they're not. But Batista is in his 50s, Triple H is almost 50, I believe. But yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see where this all goes, and I'm gonna have Triple H to win because you know, I love Triple H, and I will class Triple H as one of my favourite wrestlers, and just, yeah, I think he's a really cool dude. He's the gamer, the cerebral assassin, the king of kings. I love his groany voice. Next up is Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, and I'm going to be completely honest, this is one match that I'm a bit worried about for WrestleMania, because this could easily be a swerve. If you recall last year that we obviously thought Roman Reigns was going to win the Universal Championship, and then, oh bloody hell, my voice, and then of course Brock Lesnar out of nowhere just won the match, and we were like, what? Was this meant to happen? But yeah, that was the plan that they went along with, so that was a shame. I'm really hoping that history doesn't repeat itself, and I'm really hoping that we actually get a really good back and forth match. Obviously, Brock Lesnar is just a destroyer. Seth Rollins is very acrobatic in that, and I reckon it could be a really good clash of two styles. A real styles clash, you could say. I really hope it's similar in the vein of matches that Lesnar has had against the likes of AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Finn Bálor. And yeah, I reckon we could have a really good match on our hands. Although, I will say this whole match has kind of struggled in my opinion, in the sense that obviously Lesnar only makes a few appearances every so often, and then of course Rollins is there all the time, and you know, he's basically having to like, you know, just talk down a microphone to Lesnar and not have any real confrontations other than when Lesnar does actually appear. But I do have the prediction for this match, and that is that Lesnar is going to retain. I hope it's a really, like, you know, back and forth match between the two. You know, they all bring out their best styles of each other, and that Lesnar will probably retain. I could be wrong. I really hope for his sake that Rollins does win, but I do have Lesnar as my official prediction. Next up is Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship at the time of recording, because there could always be those little swerves. I'm going to be completely honest, this is one match that I'm really looking forward to at Mania, considering the story that is built. So obviously, it all started when Kofi Kingston was the one to replace Ali in the Elimination Chamber, and of course he ran the gauntlet. He lasted over an hour, including pinning Daniel Bryan, and obviously made it to the final two of the Elimination Chamber, and we all thought he was going to win, but sadly it wasn't meant to be. And then of course, it was meant to be the match at Fastlane, which Kofi was taken out of in favour of Kevin Owens. Then of course at Fastlane, Kofi was told he was going to be in a triple threat match, and that match would be starting right now, although saying that it was turned into a handicap match where he faced the Bar and lost. And then of course there was the gauntlet match that Kofi won, which he was initially going to be going to WrestleMania, but then lost an impromptu match to Daniel Bryan. Then of course the following week on SmackDown you had the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods do a tag team gauntlet and beat everyone. I love the little bit where the Usos chose to forfeit out of respect for the New Day, and like giving a nice little bit of continuity from their rivalry in the past. That was a nice little callback. And then of course eventually Big E and Xavier Woods won the gauntlet, and of course it was announced that Kofi was going to WrestleMania. It was all over, like, you know, it was all in their social media, like there was an official graphic for it. So yeah, that was officially happening, and I think we're all quite happy. So yeah, I really hope that Kofi Kingston does win this match, because in my opinion, he should have been WWE champion a long time ago. Like, it's been a long time coming, and this could be the chance to finally, you know, have his moment and, you know, being the ultimate underdog, having to come against the Authority and of course the heel champion. It is basically a repeat of what happened with Daniel Bryan, oddly enough, back 5 years ago. Bryan was the underdog, having to face up against the Authority, and then of course Randy Orton was the heel champion. But yeah, I know obviously they like to recycle storylines sometimes, but it's really hoping Kofi Kingston wins this match, and he is my official prediction. And also, I'm really hoping that, obviously when they're making their entrances, that Biggie and Xavier Woods come out, but then Kofi Kingston comes out separately with his SOS theme, and oh, that brings back some really good memories. So yeah, Kofi Kingston to win. And then finally, we have the main event, which is Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch for, at the time of recording, the Raw Women's Championship, although it could also be for the SmackDown Women's Championship. At the time, we don't know that. And this is going to be a pretty cool match, considering the fact that it is the first time ever that a women's match is main eventing WrestleMania. So a massive fair play to the women for getting to that spot, and it's a really nice contrast considering 6 years ago, by coincidence, at MetLife Stadium, it wasn't going to be a women's match per se, but it was going to be part of a mixed person tag team, an 8-person mixed tag team match at WrestleMania that unfortunately got cut due to timing constraints. I think it was the case that one of the matches on the show did run a bit longer than it was initially supposed to, so that was a shame. But it's really amazing to see where women's wrestling has come, like, you know, since the days of, like, you know, like bra and panties matches, like the whole misogyny against the women in the company, just being eye candy, all those throwaway matches. It's good to see them, you know, actually being legitimized as like actual like wrestlers, actual competitors, and like them being in the main event spot is a really big deal. Well, I will say I'm really excited for this match, and I think the whole build to this match has left a lot to be desired, because obviously it started off really simply with Becky Lynch winning the Rumble and challenging Ronda for the championship at Mania. Then of course Becky is injured and then suspended, and then Charlotte is there as her replacement. Then Becky keeps beating up Ronda and Charlotte, and then eventually gets reinstated and has to earn her way back into the match. Becky wins by DQ, courtesy of Ronda, and then of course Charlotte wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. And like, what the hell's going on with this feud? That brings me to the SmackDown Women's Championship, because if this is not being defended in this match, then what's the bloody point? What's the point of taking it off Asuka? Oh, it's weird, but like, I really do hope it does get defended, because if it's not defended, then it's a case of, oh yeah, the SmackDown Women's Championship is just there. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's a real shame. But yeah, fingers crossed it does also get defended. And then as a winner for this match, I have Becky Lynch. She has been on such a roll since she digivolved from the Last Kicker into the Man last year. Oh, she's been bloody good. She's, you know, she's made a good heel at the start, and then of course now she's kind of like a anti-hero, I guess, like a tweener, kind of odd. Is she babyface, is she heel? But yeah, like, she's been bloody good, and I hope really that she gets her moment, her WrestleMania moment, and that she wins the Raw Women's Championship and potentially the SmackDown Women's Championship, but as I say, we don't know at the time of recording. And yeah, those are my predictions. And then also, just to quickly talk about my few WrestleMania plans, of course I'm flying in to New York on Wednesday, doing my own kind of bits on Thursday, and then on Monday, took her for a drink on Tuesday. I was about to quote that, but no, let's not go into that. Friday, I'm going to be at WrestleMania Access in the afternoon, and then later that day, I'm also going to be at NXT TakeOver New York at the Barclays Center. Saturday, I was originally going to go to WrestleCon, but I've decided to not go, mainly because I want to do a few more things around New York. But later that night, I will be at the G1 Supercards, the Ring of Honor New Japan Super Show that's happening at Madison Square Garden. Sunday, of course, is WrestleMania 35 itself, and I will be there. And then I'll also be at the Raw and SmackDown on the Monday and Tuesday respectively after WrestleMania. And I think that'll be a nice way to kind of round off the trip, I guess. But yeah, I'm really excited for what's going to go down at WrestleMania, and I'm also, as a whole, looking forward to seeing what goes down at, like, in New York for WrestleMania week as a whole. But yeah, let's have a good time. I need to rest my voice because I was at a Progress show the night before recording this, and the main event was incredible. It was Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis Aussie Open against Will Ospreay and Paul Robinson, the Sword of Essex, in a TLC match for the Tag Team Championships. And bloody hell, there were so many great spots. The atmosphere was incredible for that show, and as a result, my voice is suffering. So yeah, I'm gonna go rest my voice now, and I will see you with some vlogs from this trip. I'm really looking forward to vlogging this trip and seeing where it goes down. So I'll see you with those vlogs. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll leave you with some advice, and that is to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at Mania, and peace.